Hello again. Before I start, I want to go over the document that I'm talking about as far as the 93rd Congressional Senate first session. It was a video series I did, Senate Report 93-549. There's also another one I have that is updated. It is the CRS Report for Congress, National Emergency Powers Act, updated September 18th, 7 days after 9/11, 2001. So, after I get done with this documentation, tomorrow I'm even going to enter into video format verbatim CRS report for Congress and the National Emergency Powers Act. And I'll keep my mouth shut on it. And I'll read it verbatim. I won't change any punctuation, letters, or, well, there is no inflection in printed words, so I can put emphasis where I wish. All right, now to the Articles of Freedom. This is what's facing us. This is an option we have, people. This is for peaceful resolution and redress, just like our forefathers sought for. Okay. All right. For decades, we have had unenforced immigration laws in violation of that mandate, plainly worded in Article 2, that requires the President to faithfully execute all the laws passed by Congress. You get into that, you get into a nation which is dual language. No nation has ever been known with a multi language base to survive for any length of time, is why that's in the Constitution. Next, we have a president who apparently is not a natural born citizen, a violation of Article 2. Well, that's still up in the air. He signed an executive order his first day in office, sealing all of his records other than what he wishes to divulge. I even have the executive order number for that if you'd like for me to look it up and quote it to you. We are counting our votes in secrets. Diebold, chief programmer, got up in front of a congressional hearing and stated flat out, yeah, I can make the machine say whatever I wanted them to say, and you can't do anything about it because you'll never know. The only way you'll know is if you know the coding. And he's talking about machine code level. You're not talking about a compiler language, which Microsoft sits on top of. Compiler language is the interface between machine code and the higher level languages. Okay, people? All right. So somebody that can go down to machine code level and you can hack the device. There's too much hacking going on. There's no need for it. But he testified in front of Congress that he can make any voting machine and even representatives. I've had videos when I was SKeene1956. All those videos up of all those hearings and those representatives, even a lady candidate down in Florida went and verified this, where she had two separate machines and she did the voting on the ballots and they came out for her opponent rather than for her. So it's right in your face. And let's not forget that the fact that Bush in his last term of office, he wasn't voted in. He was put in power by the Supreme Court ruling that said he'd won the election, when all of the ballots were still not counted yet. Not that it matters, because we don't have a true 2 or 3 party system. They're all the same. I'm sorry, but I said I wouldn't shoot off at the mouth. And there I go, but I need you to know about Diebold. And the company that's taking over is no different. They're the same. I wouldn't be surprised if Diebold sold off a division, renamed it, and that's who we have now. Yeah, that's how they do things. That's how they roll. We have an absence of well-regulated state militias, and we have a federal gun control law, all in violation of the Second Amendment. For decades, in violation of the sovereignty clauses of the Declaration of Independence, the United States has been entering into treaties, contracts, and relationships with foreign entities and giving authority to international bodies, dissipating, destroying, and undermining America's sovereignty. We have private land being taken for private purposes in violation of the Fifth Amendment. We have a government about to become a provider of health care and about to order the people to purchase a product, powers that are not enumerated in Article 1 and therefore not authorized. We have money bills originating in the Senate in violation of Article 1. We have a Senate that is using a supermajority vote to decide whether to enact a law without an amendment to the Constitution, all in violation of Article 1, Section 3 and 5 and Article 5. You need to know your Constitution. You need to know the Bill of Rights. You need to know the amendments, people. And think about this too, superdelegates. Does that mean the individual voters count really counts when it's the Electoral College and superdelegates who are the final arbitrators of the elections? Something's been the conduit has been cut. It's been breached. Let me check my time. I might have run off at the head. Yeah. Oh, okay, 6 minutes, 50 seconds. These violations have challenged the constitutional republic of the United States and her people to its core. Above all, we have government officials who, for 14 years and more, have refused to honor their fundamental obligation to respond to the people's First Amendment petitions to redress these violations. I call this the capstone grievance. It is well settled in American jurisprudence that if anyone has an obligation to respond and he fails to do so, his silence amounts to admission. It is also well settled that any right that is not enforceable is not a right. That is, with every right there is remedy. However, the Constitution cannot defend itself. It is the duty of the people to defend it. The We the People Foundation exists for the purpose of protecting and defending our federal and state constitutions and to ensure the day comes when the American people will have institutionalized citizen vigilance for the purpose of routinely holding their elected officials accountable to their constitutions, regardless of their political stripes and whether they voted for them. Okay, the vision for Continental Congress 2009 came in December of 2008 while I was preparing to give a speech at Frunel Hall in Boston. The idea was well received. From January the 1st through May the 1st, I traveled to 88 cities in all 50 states to meet with people to see if this was an idea they would support and help make a reality. They agreed. On May 21st, the foundation sponsored a meeting of leaders of the freedom movement at the Jekyll Island Club in Georgia. Jekyll Island, yeah. This was the place where the Federal Reserve was first conceived in 2010. We stood in the Federal Reserve Room, as it is called, and asked our Creator to put a new and righteous record for America in the place of what had gone before. We believe our prayers were answered. We discussed Continental Congress 2009, and if this was an idea they could support and help make a reality, they all agreed. It's more like being there. They placed a stake through the heart of a blood-sucking vampire, and it's turning to dust if we make the effort. Break the shackles of bondage, people.